What's going on, man? Welcome back to the basement. I'm Ron. This video is going to be a little bit late today. I was watching the Michigan State game. Really good game. Kenneth Walker looks like a monster. We might do a video upcoming, maybe in the next weeks, months, I don't know. But maybe I'll do a little preview of the 2022 draft class once I sit down and do some research on these guys. But the wide receivers look pretty nasty. Kenneth Walker looks like a stud. And in terms of prospects, I don't know how Kenneth Walker really looks in terms of like what I'm looking for. I think he only has like 8 catches in his entire career, but he looks like a monster. Now, with that being said, today we got a nice quick hitter for your Saturday evening, Saturday night. We're just going to talk about 3 players in specific that are skyrocketing on my rest of season rankings that you can find on the Patreon, patreon.com/Ron Stewart. I upgrade that painstakingly every single week. I go through, update the rest of season rankings, the weekly rankings, all of that stuff. So I wanted to highlight some of the guys that I think have, kind of new roles or kind of developing into, better assets than we once thought that they were. So without further ado, let's not waste any more time. Subscribe, leave a like. Also, side note, I'm trying to get better at putting these on podcasts. So I download these videos and I put them on Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff. Me personally, I'm somebody that listens to my fantasy content. I don't watch any fantasy content on YouTube. I listen to it all. So I want to make that avenue for you guys. So if any of you guys out there prefer to just like listen in the car or like in the shower, in the description, I have links to, I want to say Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff. So with that being said, let's go.
Thirsty, trying to choose. I know I'm pretty cool. My nitty bag.
All right, so the first player on this list that is skyrocketing on my rankings, and I hate to do this because it does feel a little bit like a homer pick because I am a Jets fan. The thing is, I didn't even love Michael Carter coming out of school, but he got a huge bump in the ranks. I bumped him up from running back 32 to running back 25. So he goes from like an RB3 to a fringe top 24 running back. And it's because he saw a nice little role change. His usage ticked up last week. Tevin Coleman was inactive. I believe he was a healthy scratch, which is a really good thing for Michael Carter. Michael Carter last week put up 11 rushes for 37 on the ground. Not too great. But he had 8 catches for 67 yards through the air and was the RB13 in PPR against the Patriots. Now, this is a really good, nice little nugget from Graham Barfield. That role change was huge because it wasn't just targets, but it was just him running routes, which is really big for these running backs. In weeks 1 through 5, Carter ran a route on just 30% of pass plays. So only about a third of the time that the Jets are passing the ball would he be out there running a route. That jumped to 65% versus the Patriots, which is apparently in the Swift/Eckler territory, which means that he would get a huge bump in his role in terms of pass catching. He would get a lot of targets, a lot of receiving. We know Mike White likes to, check it down to his running backs. Once Zach Wilson comes back, if he's in routes 70 or 65% of the time, he's going to see a lot of volume. And people are going to say, well, they were getting killed by the Patriots, so like that's why he got peppered with targets. The Jets are the Jets. They're going to be in negative game scripts just like the Lions all year long. So that's not really a negative for me. It just comes down to the idea of if Tevin Coleman comes back and if they scale back Michael Carter's passing game usage. But if this sticks, then like I said, he goes from an RB3 to a top 24 guy. And if he actually is talented, like a very good running back, then we're looking at a borderline league winner. But where the grade I had on Michael Carter coming out, or the ranking I had on him, I didn't love him as a prospect. So I'm optimistic. I don't know if he's going to smash for people, but like I said, he's now a fringe top 24 guy just given his passing down usage, which then brings us to our second of the day, which is T. Higgins and Jamarr Chase. Just pretty much Bengals pass catchers. Tyler Boyd didn't move up a ton, but this whole Bengals passing game is being unleashed by Zach Taylor, and I love it. This is what I was praying that they would do because the Bengals last season, what people don't understand, they were really, really pass heavy last year. They passed the ball at the 4th highest rate in neutral passing down situations. That's first and second down, not in garbage time, not like a huge lead, not down bad. In a neutral game script, they were passing the ball at the 4th highest rate in the 10 games with Joe Burrow last year, which is really good, which means they're throwing the ball a lot of volume is there. I want to say Joe Burrow averaged like 40 pass attempts per game. It was perfect. But then this year they went away from it for whatever reason. And it might be my idea is that maybe it's a Joe Burrow injury. They didn't want to lean on him too heavy. So through 6 weeks, they were 25th in neutral passing down frequency, which is pretty crazy to go from 4th highest to 25th highest in the span from year to year with the same coach, same quarterback, and then you add Jamarr Chase into the equation. But there was a switch last week, week 7. They beat up on the Ravens bad. So it's not even like the game script was negative or anything. In the neutral parts of that game, they had the 7th highest neutral game passing rate last week, which was almost on par with where they were at last year. I don't know why I'm screwing that up, but pretty much right where they were at last year, right? So they kind of bring back their neutral game pass rate to where it was last season, which is huge. That's what we want so bad, because then T. Higgins is a stud. Jamarr Chase gets even more talent. Jamarr Chase has been insane. He is only 20th in the league in targets. He is not getting peppered with volume, and yet he is 4th in points per game. So if they crank up the volume and they give him more targets, he is going to be it's over. If Jamarr Chase gets, if he goes from 20th in the league in targets to like 10th, it's over. He moved from the wide receiver 16 to the wide receiver 6 in my rest of season rankings. It is wild that a rookie is wide receiver 6 rest of season for me. Then I also bumped up T. Higgins. T. Higgins actually has a higher target share than Jamarr Chase. He is 8th in target share. So if that passing volume ticks up and they go back to being what they were last year, where they're passing the ball a lot, which is a lot of speculation, but after this week, I think that we could start see them go back to a team that passes the ball at a league high rate, which would be huge. Joe Burrow is a really good quarterback. Let him cook. The passing options are amazing. And if you give T. Higgins a bump in pass catching, he's in the top 24 wide receiver conversation, just like he was in the offseason, because that's what we were assuming. And I moved him from my wide receiver 33 last week to my wide receiver 24 this week in the rest of season rankings. I'm really excited for this Bengals passing game. Then our third player, last player on the list, Jonathan Taylor, and he moved from my RB10 to my RB6. And he's just insane. I think that he is going to be a league winner. I think that he might have that legendary running back season. The problem is that Derrick Henry is up there, but he is really good, Jonathan Taylor. He's been insane. He is the RB3 on the season. He's had like 20-plus point games the last 4 100-yard rushing games. He's the RB3 on only like 15 carries per game. From an efficiency standpoint, he has been doing wild things. Now, this chart is dope. Jacob Sanderson put it on his Twitter. This is by Brodo Fantasy. They're a fantasy app. But this is scrimmage yards over expectation. So it takes into account all of your scrimmage yards and then challenges them to like what you're expected to gain on that singular play. So it's a really good way of showcasing efficiency. And then it shows efficiency over volume, right? So you have opportunities on the x-axis. You have scrimmage yards over expected on the y. I don't know why I said that's so weird. Comparing him to like a bunch of really good seasons. So you had Saquon Barkley, and I believe probably Saquon Barkley's rookie year when he was a stud. Alvin Kamara last year. Christian McCaffrey 2019. So those are what legendary running back seasons look like in terms of scrimmage yards over expectation. So as the graph goes up, they're performing more and more over expected. And Jonathan Taylor, at where he's at, so like just roughly 100 opportunities, he is the most efficient of the bunch, which is insane. That is the kind of level that he's playing at right now. Now, given the workload he's at right now, he'll still be a top 3, 5, 6 running back. But if they bump up the workload, they give him 20 carries, they start really relying on him, which is possible. Like we just saw with Cordarrelle Patterson. If you keep balling out, you can earn more snap share, more touches, all that good stuff. If he keeps playing like this, he's going to earn a bigger role. And he has the second easiest schedule remaining for running backs. He is really loaded up here where I can see him having, a legendary running back type season, 20 plus PPR points per game. JT could be a guy that wins leagues this season if he gets the ball more, all that good stuff, because the efficiency is there. He is unprecedented in terms of how efficient he is right now. But like I said, I moved him from RB10 to RB6. I'm really excited for Jonathan Taylor. That is going to do it for us today, fellas. I'm going to be live tomorrow morning. I'm going to have a live stream open to the public. I've been doing these live streams with just the Patreon recently. But what I've decided is we'll do a public live stream so I can interact with all the subscribers from the channel. I'm going to have a little private spot in the Discord where the Patreon members can ask me questions, and then they'll just get priority in the comment section just so I don't miss out on the patrons, because that's what they pay for. Now, I'm going to take a shower, watch the rest of these college football games, upload this video. So, not going to stay on here for a little bit longer. I will see you guys in the next one. I'm going to put up, I got a nice little outro here. I got to put music on it. So it's just going to be me in the background.